Well, joining us now is a good friend of ours who says you can grow your own income and retire rich. You heard me, one of my favorite four-letter words, R-I-C-H. Let's welcome back to America's Forum, Kathy Fettke, CEO and founder of the Real Wealth Network and author of the new book, Retire Rich with Rentals. Kathy, welcome back to America's Forum.
Having me.
Yeah, the alliteration of the title notwithstanding, can we really pull this off? How do we make this happen?
Well, first of all, it was my husband who came up with the title, and his name is Rich. So maybe it's just, I'm going to be making his life better. No.
Sure.
Is it possible? Well, here's the truth, and here's the reason I wrote the book. Most people will not be able to retire, and it's really scary. And I have a solution very spelled out clearly in the book of how that can change for people who pay attention. Most people aren't paying attention. They're just really trying to survive, let alone pay attention to the future.
Kathy, can you enlighten us on why real estate is the highest leverage investment strategy in your opinion?
Well, absolutely. Here's the thing. Most people will never be able to retire because they're being told to put away 10% towards retirement and maybe 10% in emergency funds. Well, that is not going to get you there. If you add those numbers up, you better retire if your money's in the stock market. You better retire when the stock market's up. So, in other words, back before the Great Recession, you could have retired in 2007 and done fine. But if you waited 18 months, you would have lost half your nest egg. All your lifetime spent just for that one moment where everything's gone, and nobody wants to take that risk anymore. So with real estate, it's very different because, like you said, it's a high leverage situation where you can use 20% of your money, borrow 80% from the bank if you have good credit and a good job history. It's not that hard to get an investment loan. And then you rent that property out, and your tenant pays off that loan for you. So if you accelerate that payment by making one extra payment a year, you can have that property paid off in 12 to 15 years.
Now, your book goes into all the whys and wherefores and is a bit more encyclopedic, but the bottom line on this, you're saying even in uncertain economic times, people are going to need to have places to live, and that's why rental property is so attractive?
That's right. For the past 6 years, we really stopped building in this country, but we have a population growth of about 4 million per year. Plus, we've got the next biggest generation coming. It's the baby boomers' kids, who eventually are going to want to have their own homes. They don't want to now, and they can't afford it right now, but they will. So right now, you have a huge rental pool, an incredible demand for housing, an actual shortage of housing because we haven't been building enough to keep up with demand. And so right now is just an incredible time to be a landlord, to be able to, buy investment property, rent it out to someone who needs it and wants to live indoors. People are moving out from mom and dad. We're recovering here in the U.S. and people want to live on their own, and they're willing to pay a landlord for that, and that landlord could be you, and that payment pays off the money you borrowed. So it's the ultimate leverage where maybe you bought a $100,000 house, you put $20,000 into it, and then you get the $100,000 house paid off through the help of the tenant.
Sounds like a great idea. We can read more about it in the book, Retire Rich with Rentals. Kathy Fettke, thanks so much for your time. And it's not dreams of sugar plums, that comes later on Christmas Eve, but dreams of a steady retirement income with rentals. Calculating about that. Hey, also calculating that in 21 hours you'll see us 9 a.m. in the east, 6 a.m. in the west tomorrow. Stay free, stay brave, stay tuned.